Okay, Nilfgaard mirror, but it's not really a mirror because we have cultists against enslave.
Oh, this should be fun. So queuing enslave on blue. Was that a counter queue? Like, did he read what was going to happen?
Possibly. But
Danirai is very good with cultists himself. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, but I think also had some really unfortunate games with cultists in the recent top 16 quali, which maybe is part of why he didn't take cultists to this tournament. I mean, I think generally like all the lists for Danirai are kind of decent into cultists, so I don't know if it's so much a counter queue as just queuing a decent blue coin deck here, and we'll see how it goes.
but I feel like this enslave just like demolishes cultists. Because like you just do what they do, but you have more assimilate procs while you do it.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a line cultist can take that I don't know about, but I feel like I've never lost this matchup. I get excited when I see cultists and I'm playing ANGOULEME.
Sure. Cropping is all good.
Yeah, so he's Torres is trying to pick what be of spying to. He's picked Prophet, now he's deciding between like Deacon and Informant or a Fawn. There's an Illusionist also. There's also Nausicaa Brigades, you know? Those are not bad either.
Yeah.
He ends up going with just 2 Deacons. So he just wants all the Bronze Cultists. He took a Prophet and 2 Deacons.
And yeah, I mean, when you're playing the artifact yourself with ANGOULEME, that's kind of what you're wanting to do. Okay.
Yeah. Except you also have Torres for 19 tempo, which like if cultists want any shot at winning the round, they have to commit Vilgeforce, which is also what they usually use on infused targets. So it's already like, what does Gravesh do? I assume you would want to play Deacons, but he didn't draw any Deacons, and Danirai knows that because he saw both Deacons in deck. So this is like, there's no Aneromancy, so you can't Mata for Anero, and like he doesn't know what to play right now. His hand is terrible.
Yeah, it does not look like a fun time at all.
And this is why I've never liked Cultists on Red Coin, because in this deck with this Battle Stations variant, you don't have Tome and Oniro, and you're just like you end up in situations like this where you're just throwing cards in the garbage.
Yeah, and as Danirai here, as soon as you see this 4-power cultist come down, you know something's gone wrong. For them to be starting with an Initiate and not a Deacon, like something is just not going right for the cultist player.
Yeah, and he didn't like what I probably would have done incorrectly is just like Copium Operator and be like, if I threaten to infuse stuff, they'll be forced to respond.
Yeah.
Probably just better to discard 3 and pass. You could just see like the frustration in Gravesh's mouse where he was like hovering over his cards, like, look at this stuff, look at this. I do the same.
It's
just look at my choices again. Maybe they've changed. Nope, they're still the same garbage choices.
Yeah,
Okay.
So with such a bad hand here, okay, we know it's bad, right? But what do you actually do here? If you cultist with this bad hand on red coin in this situation, do you just try to get out of the round, play your Deacons round 2, try to get as many statuses as you can, and then play your scenario round 2 to defend the inevitable bleed?
Yeah, I think that's the only choice. Viable choice. But he does end up playing the Operator. He just played the 4P Initiate first, so that as soon as he Operators, he can click, and that's actually smart. Music is a tad bit loud.
Okay. Oh, it would have gone to a new playlist. Okay. Oh no, wait, what is it done? I'll just turn it down again.
Yeah. So Danirai not trying to decide if he wants to infuse the enemy cultist or not. Instead, it looks like he's just going to give it Veil. But not that the Veil is important. Well, the Veil is important because it will prevent additional infusions, but it also set to 8. So.
So it's so hard to kill. Like, at 8 power here in this kind of round, the only way it dies is to a Wilberforce. I mean, also just looking at this point gap, I don't see how Gravesh catches up. But are you
I mean,
see
you could catch up with Scenario, but you've drawn no Deacons, so you'd just be like screwing around 3.
Do we even see a tempo pass from Danirai? Does he read this hand is so bad that he can just tempo pass?
He did Torres. He knows what's in deck. He can look at the deck list and figure out that you have a Magni and Mata, and because like most of the units in this deck are below. Well, all of them are below 10p. So Torres saw like everything. He can deduce, except for where the teleports are. He knows everything else.
Yeah.
Which actually, even that he can probably figure out because Torres does show you duplicates.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, and if you just count the units, you know, there's 10 units Taurus isn't showing you. They're in hand, and you do see the tempo pass. So. What do you do? Do you Wilberforce the Taurus here? You have to, I guess.
Yeah. At least he locked the Marine.
Okay. 2 leaders able to actually get in front. Also, with the Covey played.
But...
Oh, actually, sorry. Wilberforce only shows bronzes now. So you're seeing here the reworked Wilberforce not able to actually pull any gold units after the Covey. So nice little buff there for Assimilate in this kind of matchup.
It's made NG mirrors so much more enjoyable. It's probably my favorite change of this whole patch.
Yeah. And that's only because the Regis got changed so that you couldn't Wilberforce, so Regis, but yeah. Anyways, we move on to the round 2. So I imagine we will see a bleed come through here for Danirai, perhaps? Or at least you play a little bit to... You play at least 1 Deacon to get some infusions going. But if you play this Deacon, is that even great? Because Danirai will just kill it and spread his own infusions for his own scenario.
Yeah, I don't know. I just want to see what Gravesh does, because I would have forfeited already. Like as soon as the I saw what my opponent queued, and then I saw my round 1 hand, and then he passed, I would have just been like, let's go next. But it will be fun, I think, especially if you haven't seen this matchup. Cultists against ANGOULEME and Slave, I think it will be fun to look at.
We talked about how Danirai didn't actually take cultists in this series, but we might actually be seeing Danirai basically playing cultists here in this round 3 anyways.
Yeah, why play cultists when you can play cultists with Assimilate?
I believe Gravesh is just gonna... I mean, if you bleed here, you're shortening the round. But part of me
I think you have to,
if that's even a bad thing. You need to get your
the only advantage Gravesh has is Battle Stations Magni and Dandelion. Like those are 3 things that
and you see it go through.
Danirai doesn't have, and so maybe that's how he wins. But he would have to give up last save, most likely.
And
plus, with Taurus played, like Danirai's bench is very deep, so he could play all of his own deck here, and then just save ANGOULEME and the Deacons and the Prophet that he copied, and like an emissary or informant, for the next round, and that's enough for him to win a short. I mean, I don't know. Like Scenario is also good in a short round, right? If he can. I don't know. I guess he will probably play Scenario this round, if Gravesh does too. Because I don't think you can beat Cultists with Scenario without your own Scenario. But I could.
Yeah, I would agree.
I mean, so far, The Obsidian Mirror also used to make more cultists in deck.
Yeah.
That is hilarious. It's just Mirror is just also disgusting in this matchup. At one point when there was a lot of cultists on ladder, I had it in my cultist deck instead of a teleport, and it was really funny in the mirrors. Suddenly you get 3 initiates. Good luck.
Yeah, and speaking of teleport, Danirai uses this Joust to kill the 2 power beacons that it's not able to have the teleport used on it, which would have reset the previous 3 damage from the coup, and also given Gravesh the opportunity to get even more infusions. Now you could still use the teleportation, but you're not actually getting any extra points. There is a pass here. Danirai is giving a pass over for Gravesh to just say, okay, I've gotten some infusions through. It's fine, I'll see you in the long round. Instead commits the Magni, the Decree.
I guess he feels like he's got to go maximum infusions to have a chance.
I mean, the Magni was already infused. If you're going to replay the Deacon, here you manage to actually draw a unit to get another infusion. Nice little sequencing, and you do like Whereas showing that he knows the exact sort of ordering, because there's a lot of things you need to keep in mind with the sequencing of like deploys and card plays and draws and how that all works together.
We're just going to see a Sergeant from Danirai?
Yeah, so Sergeants aren't really that meaningful here in like the round 3. Normally they're quite good, but for a matchup like this where you're going to be cosplaying as cultists, Nausicaa doesn't pretend to be a cultist very well. It's not a gold, doesn't help you with that. And if it's not infused, it doesn't really matter. Immediate scenario still.
First shot in the cultist war has been fired by yoinking the enemy initiate. That's huge. Now whatever you play will get double infused.
Yeah.
Double Deathwish infused, and we're off to the races.
There could have been an argument there for Gravesh to use the double leader here, get the immediate infusion, and then if Danirai does respond with a scenario like this, a pass from Gravesh would have ensured that Danirai would have had to actually play another card just to get the infusion. Giving a chance to get the infusion and get out into round 3. Instead,
that's an interesting play.
Opting to say, okay, I have a number of cultists on my board right now. You don't have as many cultists, granted. This leader does kind of flip the tide of things, and with the Magni getting a number of infusions, the copied Prophet getting played. Now I don't really know what you do here. Does the look move?
I mean, I think he accepted. Like I said, I think Gravesh accepted he was going to lose a card.
Yeah.
His entire strategy, I think, has been as long as I don't get a hero passed out, I'm going to shorten the round. Like the shoe's on the other foot. He wants to win a short round with Dandelion and Battle Stations, and maybe Vigo, or he might play the Vigo here, even depending on what he's getting from the Calvite player. But there's a battle prep, which Danirai smartly kept in hand, right? That's something that I forget which pro player I was watching was explaining that with Calvite decks, when you know you're going to get bled, you keeping a couple of exactly.
Because Gravesh really is attempting to just value bleed here, and just force out golds if possible, whilst just getting more carryover in the form of infusions.
Is he really going to drop the locked Vigo?
Does it still count as having the cultist infusion? So does it trigger the scenario?
It triggers the other cultist, but Vigo itself will stay at 2.
Okay, but it will at least give you another Deacon here. I think you more so just play it to get the extra infusion from the one on board, because the deploy here isn't doing anything because Dandelion is already a cultist.
Yep.
You get the Vigo from the other side as well, so not the worst situation. But I think this point gap is getting a bit much. Your hand here is very awkward for Gravesh, so I think you just need to get out.
He wanted to play that Vigo because now his now his Artaud will play a Vigo, which will play an informant into a cultist next round. So that was like, but I mean that was gonna happen either way.
So, you still have what? It's Vilgefortz, Terranova, and Stefan for Danirai. Probably going to be using the Stefan to try and clean up as many of these small soldiers as possible. I'm very, very interested to see how Gravesh is going to sequence here. Dandelion into battle stations is very sketchy because you run into issues with sort of pulling soldiers and drawing in. If you like, you don't want to draw into the Afan or draw into your Nausicaa's brigades. Nausicaa Brigade, right? Imperial? Whatever they are, the 1-power summoning guys.
It's Nausicaa Brigade. You got it.
Nausicaa Brigade. Good. So
I'm wondering about the Siegfried, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Can you play him and not purify everything?
I think you'd be fine to purify everything because you have assimilate value. If your opponent doesn't have infusions, you just win.
I almost wonder if playing Siegfried first was better. Because now he can't copy a cultist.
I think it's fine. Does he even have infusions remaining? Like, Terranova's not infused here.
His Siegfried is, but that's... His Vilgefortz is not. His informant is...
Okay, well the Siegfried won't purify himself, I believe. So, that's fine. Actually, he doesn't, right? It's...
he says purify all units, not all other...
So maybe he
not
will
all allies.
destroy himself. Curious.
Yeah, now we have a prophet.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe this is when you play your Siegfried... No, because your Siegfried's an engine.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta play something. Is he gonna coup the prophet? Oh, he's just gonna play the informant. That's fine, I guess. So what Danirai got from his ANGOULEME was like an extra card.
Okay.
And he used it to complete.
Oh, that's nice. So you're able to get all your soldiers out, ensure that your deck is able to not have any more bricks in it. Then you're able
and then
to...
Dandelion into battle stations.
Yeah, get the perfect Dandelion to battle stations, so you will have a board full of infused cultists.
He found the winning line. I was wrong.
Yeah. And that informant, like, the leader was usable anyways. Maybe the correct play was actually to just... Oh, actually, the Vilgefortz was locked. You couldn't even Vilgefortz. And it would have put you in anyways you could use the leader on. Yeah. Okay, you can Siegfried now, but... I think this...
Well, there's still a Stefan.
Yeah.
And there's no Vilgefortz on the other side.
Yeah, I don't think these initiate infusions are able to actually get a kill. You can get a cultist from the Necromancy, you get a cultist from the teleportation. But this illusionist I don't believe is infused in hand right now.
Maybe that's why he went for the sergeant. Yeah, okay. Danirai knew what he was doing. Shocker.
Yeah.
Pro player is better than Papiga caster.
Yeah, and we do see the Siegfried does purify itself here, so it does not keep the infusion, unfortunately.
Oh.
Siegfried, in cleansing others, he had to cleanse himself.
Seems like Danirai is frustrated he didn't draw any deacons.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think deacons would do anything here for him. Nice bundle on the illusionist. When you're not getting any more engine value, like small things like just getting the extra 4 points with the bonded are quite impactful.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, this order doesn't mean anything, but
it's still one more point than
fine.
sergeant or whatever.
I mean, it might have been worth the same, if not more, to go for the
Initiate.
Granted,
But
it's
Initiate
easy to
always
just get
buys
killed by
Stefan.
Stefan in that case.
Yeah.
So Danirai should know the last two cards here are Teleportation, Necromancy, because literally every single card in deck has been played. If there's a Teleportation, you're definitely killing this 1-power Initiate, and I assume you're just gonna use...
You kill the one in the back too, right?
The rest kill the other Initiate. Maybe you kill an Illusionist actually to deny the Bonded though on the Teleportation.
No, but he already played both illusionists, so... Oh, you mean from the teleport?
Oh, but then it would actually be open with the necromancy anyways, so it doesn't make much of a difference. Why are you spreading the damage like this?
He wants to coup the initiate, I guess. Since it's not growing, he
Right.
knows. But it can get teleported, so I don't
Yeah.
know.
So I guess you set multiple units to 3 power here to ensure that they can all get cooed.
Yeah, you're getting at least one of them will get cooed.
But this is a lovely teleportation. Moves Duchess Informant to the other side, and you get a Nausicaa, which when you want this point slam, quite lovely. And doesn't enable the Informant here to get cooed. So it is used on the Initiate.
Oh, he still has Vilgafor. He can infuse something. I wonder if using Sergeant Infusion on the Initiate was better for Gravesh.
I don't think the infusion matters here. You just don't have that many cultists on your side of the board. Oh wait, is Siegfried infused? It looks like it. I don't even know
It
anymore.
is, yeah. Siegfried's infused. Okay, the infusion was just 1 point.
Ooh.
But it was enough. Okay, Enslave does win.
I guess that was
but Gravesh made it really close.
Because if you're gonna have to reverse sweep, at least, oh yeah, if you're gonna have to sort of win with like all the other decks, if you're reverse sweeping, you at least get to decide which coin you're using when. You have your blue coin and red coins set out for you. Okay, so it's cultists. We don't see either of the obvious cues I talked about. Cultists on blue coin. Hopefully able to actually find some deacons this time. There is one in hand. Does have the cursed scroll. Has the scenario, so this is looking a bit better. Can also put a Nausicaa Brigade to bottom with the cursed scroll. That would be quite nice to help with a bit more consistency later on with your mulligans. And on the other side of things, we have Danirai taking the Lined Pocket Syndicate list.
Yeah, and with the Syndicate list, like from Redcoin, you don't have the coins from Stratagem, so you're a little bit slow to start. But it looks like Danirai does not want to let these deacons get value. He immediately uses Leader Charge and jams BGF to kill the first deacon, saying you're gonna have to get the other one from Curse Scroll, which is what Gravesh does.
Probably gonna get Horsened. And the nice thing here is that if you're able to just limit the number of infusions that the cultist player is able to get, then it's a lot easier for your Kalkstein to just go pew pew pew, purify all the infusions, just like we saw the Siegfried doing in the previous game. Kind of a bit more work because Kalkstein doesn't just purify for free, you have to pay him to actually do things. What do you expect? Here's a Syndicate card. And early necromancy being used to actually get this deacon on, but Overall decides to just do 2 damage, and the insanity for Horsen. Junior just cleaning up the deacon. Religion is no match for insanity, clearly. And now there's a very real threat of losing on even here for Gravesh. I don't think there's any more deacons he has access to. There's really no downside.
Yeah,
of
the teleport's already kind of
like.
Well, the only you could use it on a deacon you get from the scenario, I suppose.
But that's only off the scenario's use. Like, there's really no scenario. You're not getting any more sort of infusion value by getting infusions later.
Yeah, and Gravesh looked like he was trying to decide between locking the junior or locking the brawler. He goes with the junior. Oh, sorry, goes with the brawler.
He uses a leader just to get this hunter out of range of the Horsen junior fee. This enables him to play this scenario now and then get the triggers.
Oh wow, okay. See, like if Danirai had another brawler in hand, that turn that was used to lock could have been used to just like if he used it to get the 6 coins from Sesame, then he could have used another brawler to just board wipe every turn.
Yeah.
But he didn't have another brawler, so that lock ended up being very, very impactful.
So 2 cards down. Do we go into long round, or is Ixora big enough of a threat that Gravesh decides to actually bleed here? Because that really is like, I think the only thing Gravesh is really scared of. Actually, Kalkstein. Sorry, Kalkstein and Ixora are the two scary things. There maybe was an argument, as they were saying, to have operated in the round 1 to get the earlier to operate onto the Deacon and maybe try to get more infusions that way. Also, having the operator body helps play around the Benacle Brawler pings. It's not really as easy to board wipe, but maybe was trying to save that decree to have that trigger with the Master of Ceremonies onto the scenario. You do see the immediate initiate here. I assume, yeah, scared of the cultists, scared of the Kalkstein, decides to go for a quite significant bleed. No, you really don't want to, I would say, full leader yet, because you're a bit worried about
yeah, you want to save leader for when you're going to battle station.
Yeah, you want to get your brigades out with the leader into a farm, like what we saw at the end of the previous game. But instead does still use a leader. I think mainly you're protecting against Moros with that leader. So I think that's really the only source of 4 damage that Danirai has. Oh wait, Danirai is actually main decking a failed experiment. Huh, I did not realize that.
Yeah. Because of elves, I think.
Right.
Poisons don't do anything as elves, and he's got Morels, but if you don't draw it. And Morels only kills 1 target, so. Here comes Prophet.
So
Failed experiment gonna eat the lock, looks like.
I mean, and the Prophet is a bit less meaningful because whatever gets locked, the Kalkstein can kind of just purify it. But notably, there is no poison sting on the failed experiment since it was locked here.
Dandelion. That would be a big commitment.
This is pretty aggressive. I don't know if the teleport was really what you wanted here. It doesn't really help
No,
you
it
do
was
anything
not.
more in this round. It's very, very awkward.
Because he has to play the initiate now. I don't know. Oh, whoa.
Instead, okay, aggressive line.
Are we going for the 2-0?
Possibly.
Boss champ? Oh no, these draws. Oh.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what Gravesh was hoping to draw, but I'm pretty sure it was not that. However, you have 3 initiates on board with a 1 power informant on the other side. So if you have 1 cultist you can play here, you're able to get a lot of value. And it doesn't even matter too much, I guess. Well, the Kalkstein can get rid of the cultist tag on the operator, but you can't purify the cultist tag away from the initiates or the prophet themselves. So this death blow onto the informant will get a lot of value.
It also tells you he doesn't have more else in hand.
Yeah.
Because he wouldn't be purifying the operator if he did.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
So this is a
So even though cultist player was down a card, they're still bleeding and
yeah,
they have enough tempo to get their card back and then some.
Look, the thing here is, it's looking bad for Danirai, right? However, if you're able to just survive this round, the cultists have kind of used a lot of their load already. They're big cards. There's still the Norse Brigades and the Afan. Granted, I'm not entirely sure how many of them actually have infusions, because we saw a lot of infusions already being shut down. In particular, not many orders got to be used, and the order is actually what infuses things in your deck. So maybe these brigades just don't matter, and that's part of why Gravesh is just bleeding so hard, because the soldier doesn't even matter if it's just 1-point body without a cultist tag. And of the 2 key threats of Kalkstein and Xora, we see the Kalkstein already being used here by Danirai in this round 2. So it's mainly the Xora, which I think would be the main way for Danirai to catch up, and we do see it as in hand here. You do have to be careful,
you may have to,
because you don't want Vilga Forts to hit the Xora, so you kind of need to wait for Gravesh to pass before playing Exora.
You may need to check my camera. I've turned into a penguin, apparently.
You're... Oh, okay, that's... It was... Okay, cool. Thank you for that. I didn't realize it got turned on properly since you came back. Okay.
So, there's no infused target now for this initiate, right? Because the locked abomination fail experiment. So yeah, that kind of forced... Gravesh is kind of forced to pass.
You could infuse... Oh no, the Temple Guard got played after the pass, or was it on board? Because if it was on board, you could infuse...
Oh yeah, I guess Temple Guard was there. That's true.
But it's not really... I mean, using a Vilgefortz on that doesn't feel great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also don't think... Speaking of that, I don't think that was a great pull from the Noble Guard either.
It'll boost by 1 if you get an Eventide from... Or if you play an Eventide.
It's not amazing.
It's not what you want. You wanted coins.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah, and...
Points.
I guess the thing is, all of these units on Gravesh's side are sort of decently statted. So this Exora getting the Vice going, it does help shorten this gap by quite a good amount. Though you may have to go a few cards down at least.
Danirai's hand is Eventide Plunder, Fist Deck, and Shady Vendor.
Yes.
Like, that is not 40 points in 2 turns, you know?
Shady Vendor
gonna have to go to 0.
will help you spend a lot here at least. Because...
it will overspend by 1, technically, for the... I guess he could spend the 3 and then click leader.
Yeah, I think you have to play like that here. Just to maximize your Exora value.
Yeah.
So now the next kill... Well, all the kills with Exora now are basically just killing 5s. So you see one of them die, and 8 coins should be enough to get ahead here. You're down 2 cards.
6 years later. He does have Novigrad, but the round isn't very long. It's 4-card round.
No.
Well, 4-card for Syndicate.
If you're able to get a good enough...
If you get both.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think you just need a good spender. If you get a good spender, get the Open Sesames out, you're in with a shot.
We're seeing Jacques. And Boat. And Candle. And Bank. This is not...
There's Candle. And a Brawler. And an Azar.
That's not enough points.
Protect.
That's not enough points.
Yeah, okay. Danirai kind of just did not draw his golds this game.
Well, someone is playing and winning with cultists said no one ever. That's not true. People said that initially. Danirai is mousing over his Jacques and his boat and his Morales and his bank. I wonder what he's thinking.
I really wanted to see how close this would be. Like, if there was at least like a Jacques or a bird or something here, I could have seen this being...
How many units on the Gravesh's side? I guess there's not that many. So yeah, it probably would have been close. But you can infuse the Scarabs, which ends up protecting other stuff. You know? I love how when you're trying to leader with Imperial Formation, the game tells you, you can't leader the enemy units because there's a defender there.
Yeah, or even when you're targeting, like, just anything. It's so interesting.
Yeah.
Just
Scarabs are bronzes, yes.
But yeah. Note though, like, this is why I was really interested, because there's not that many infused units still at this point.
Oh, you come.
You see great brawler value. Okay, it needs to finish off that initiate. I mean, gets the board through.
Cleaned, sir.
Problem is, still would need some actual.
You still only have 11 points. Like, there's more points in Gravesh's hand.
This Vilgefortz is terrible now, because I don't think Gravesh can really get through these Scarabs. That was very, very well played from Danirai. If...
Oh, he could play Vigo into... Well,
Yeah, no mage assassin in this list. Maybe actually with like initiate infusion on one, Vigo initiate infuse the other, teleportation to replay a cultist, something like that, or like illusionist into initiate. There are ways. Granted,
Or you discard teleport.
The initiate is just going to die because the brawler exists.
You can also get your own infused mana out if you have ever have any units living on the board. But I mean, here comes Scandal for 4 coins. Well, not if you already played all your initiates. Triple assay doesn't matter. See, he should have done this discard last turn. I guess it still wouldn't have mattered. Either way,
that still would have had an awkward turn this time. Candle spending. Yeah.
Cultists are fine. See? They're losing.
Wait, has Danirai done it?
What? No. Well, actually.
No, the Scarab should die here. Yeah, you need to go Deacon here, I guess. I don't know if Vilga's still infused or not, but... Okay, okay, goes for a bleed. Fair, that works as well.
But...
Wait, would it not have been better to... Okay, it doesn't matter.
Oh my god, he did it!
I think...
The madman did it!
I think Deacon would have been better there, because it would have been an extra cultist. You'd have gotten 1 more point on the kill. Because you would have infused the Vilga fort.
Well, Vilga wasn't infused, was it?
Well, you would have infused the Vilga by playing the Deacon.
So
you would have
right,
done the 2 damage to the Scarab, had 1 more point.
Watching someone play against cultists is like watching someone with their finger in the dam, and little holes start to poke out, and you put other fingers in those holes, and it's just like at any moment the dam could burst, or like they get saved. And yes, after the dam bursts, it's not interesting because it's just like water, like an avalanche of cultists descend upon you, But up to that point, there's a lot of tension being built. It's like, oh, will this initiate get through? Will he draw his deacons? Will he go from having 5 points to 69 points in 1 turn? No. Lemon's like, no. I'm just trying to hype it up.
Yeah, I just feel bad for Danirai with those terrible draws. Like, the dam kind of just... maybe like he was trying to do things with the dam, but then the river got diverted somewhere else. And it just
it's still on the metaphor. Okay.
Anyways, let's move to something more concrete, which is this game 3. We have Syndicate on the blue coin, starting off against the Patricidal Fury. Do we have many open sesames? We have just a single shade, 2 shady vendors. You can see one poking out behind this bare knuckle brawler for Danirai. So probably we'll be using those to try and establish the carryover for shady vendors. It's not a guaranteed, but these are professional players. They're probably gonna hit the open sesame from shady vendor.
That's true. I'm wondering if Lirio has any stats on the matchup between on-crate skin and default Syndicate skin.
These are just the default skins. I don't think Gravesh and Danirai care very much about the cosmetic game. But yeah, so interesting to see the street urchins being rolled from the Eventide Plunder, immediately being used with the Shady Vendor as well. The great thing about street urchins is it's just a 1-for-1 spender. That's exactly the kind of thing you want when you're trying to get the open sesames to go through.
And it's better than Brawler, because Brawler would have to hit the armor on the Drakkar.
Brawler is nice to actually, if you're able to finish off a Drakkar here, because then that stops the opponent from being able to use stuff like a Terror Crew Plunderer or like a...
But it's just 1 extra point on the Blunder, and you spend 2 extra coins... You spend 3 extra coins to kill the Drakkar, and you prevent it from getting 1 point.
1 extra point on the Plunder.
Okay, it's 3. It's right. Yeah. 4. It's 4. Okay,
which is fine in that kind of situation.
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
So,
Squirrel.
Yeah, so Danirai trying to set up Open Sesame is to bust open this game, just like the card art is busting open that safe. But I guess Squirrels are very good at defending the safe and also defending this game as well, getting rid of the Open Sesame.
I had someone on Neuromancy a second squirrel to kill my second sesame.
Yeah.
So I just 2-0'd them.
Yeah,
Don't do that.
Yeah, this is.
Although Gravesh could, he has literally all his
it could
goals.
be the correct play, but the thing you got to be careful about is if you do use both your Squirrels, that's both your 4-power Beast Scorn, and you can't guarantee your little Halfroo will be killable necessarily. So your Temporal Pass coming here for Danirai, which is, yeah, had the Shea Vendor, had the Temple Guard here, able to spend quite nicely with Temple Guard, getting a good spend when it empties the bank. Now, how do you catch
Martyr
up?
wouldn't be enough. You'd have to play 2 cards.
Yeah.
Gravesh might want to pass, actually. I'm not sure. No? Yeah. He grabs the Heat Wave. Oh, Heat Wave is enough. Okay.
Heat Wave is a huge commitment, but to enable a bleed, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, with Heat Wave gone, now Danirai knows his location and his cannon are safe. He'll probably try and play uninteractive, especially since he has poisons.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's hard not to overprofit when you're playing uninteractive with this deck.
But, yes, you see the Dwim here in hand. The Raging Bear does go away. Actually, I also guess like technically Raging Bear is an alternative serve target, but that's even harder to kill than a Halfroo. Dwim is completely safe here because there's no artifact.
Plus, has a Purify.
You'd
have to use like Care Troll or something.
Yeah. Ooh, draws a second Squirrel. Maybe not what you wanted, but we'll see if it does end up getting played here if another Open Sesame comes out. Interesting rolls here. I wonder if we'll see the Greatsword. Probably is fine. There's no bounties floating around, so it's probably good. Goes for a Warcrier instead. What do I know? Use the leader as well to set it up. Quite interesting here. Maybe with the Squirrel in hand, you're realizing that it doesn't make much sense just to save full leader to use with the serve, because I don't really have a Squirrel to do that with, and I'm wanting to bleed quite deep here potentially.
Yeah, I think maybe it's more about if you're playing the Greatsword, it's less points unless you're gonna commit the Swablood, and so maybe he's gonna do that.
Yeah.
He wants to save Swablood for the short round, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, that's fair.
It does give a really good poison target though for Danirai. So that's what he's gonna do.
And yeah, you get to a full coin bank, but it's not the worst. You can just sort of maybe play a unit next to this Siren, maybe try and get like a Temple Guard to go through to avoid over-profiting. Does Danny have Candle or Novigrad? I should be looking at the top of the screen a bit more. There is Novigrad.
He's got Novigrad, no Candle.
No Candle, unless you try to bank for it. And in this matchup, the interaction between Candle and Azar from the Syndicate side, as well as like the Totem and the Blob on the Skellige side, is quite important. Because Blob is sort of the best way to get through Azar, particularly if you have the Totem set up to help you deal 2 damage. But that does require the Candle to not exist, and for Temple Guards to not be on board either. So if Candle did get played, it would probably just get verification straight away. And whilst you may be thinking... yeah?
This is very awkward for Danirai because Sigvald on the board prevents Brawler from doing anything.
Yeah.
And the Temple on board means that you can't play Azar. Azar would just get instantly removed.
Yeah.
The Scarabs would.
I wouldn't mind trying to just play like a Temple Guard here, see if it sticks. It probably forces the Clash to be used. Granted, it kind of just would get refreshed by Dwim here, and then you're back to square one, but...
Yeah, it buys you time, because Dwim takes a turn, and that's the turn that you're safe. Like, the turn after Clash is used, is a turn you can drop something and have it not be
it
instantly.
would still reset immediately. Right, effectively, it would be ready for use next turn.
Right, because he
Yeah.
would clash and drop the Dwym.
Yeah,
In the
because
same
you already have a Sigvald, a big enough unit set up, it would be fine. Instead, you see the Canute being used? Immediately set up with the Totem. So that would play a little more into something like a Horse and Junior, potentially. Meaning they don't
But
use
Danirai needs to learn how to draw his golds.
finish it off. But yeah, Danirai having a few not great times with drawing goals with Syndicate. It's quite unfortunate.
I called Totem Temple. I'm sorry. I want to apologize to the fans who I've let down.
Yeah. It's a
Oh.
bit of a different religion, I guess.
No payday. He wanted payday and he didn't get payday.
Yes,
He has Open Sesame. Yeah, all those coins that you can't do anything with because Sigvald is towering over the battlefield.
And yeah, did you?
I feel
try
like Brawler should target the unit. Because if somebody's taller than it, like Brawler looks like a bully. You know, he shouldn't be allowed to hit. Yeah. Should work like Pred Dive. It should hit your own smallest units and the enemy's smallest unit at the same time.
That would be quite a rework, huh? I don't know what you do here, Zara. This just is so awkward. Like, this location is providing an ever-present threat of if you try to develop something, I can just click this card, remove it, I also have a Canute on board just to provide some extra removal value. You see a Temporal Guard being used, I think, with 2 spends there.
I had a game just like this, which is why I posted in the TV forums and was asking, hey guys, what do you do when they have like this situation? Asking for advice, because it just felt impossible. Like you're saying, you just play a card and they could kill it. And you can't play Temple, or sorry, you can't play Azar because of Totem.
In theory, what you could try to do is just try to limit the opponent's board. I feel try not to use your bits of removal if possible to not let them sort of develop, and then after they pass, you can sort of try to play your candles, spend a bunch, get ahead, and then open with Azar in the next round and
But spend with what?
try and go that way. Or spend with the candle after the pass, but you still need to be somewhat in the ballpark to have that succeed.
Yeah, and you also need to have candle.
Yeah, and like if the Azar does get played here, you don't need to use the blob, you can just pass at this point. So you're fine to sort of just start committing these Bear Abominations with the Totem, getting just more points, widening the gap. You're not interested in playing Sparblood this round.
No.
Yeah. And Novigrad is nice, because the order helps catch up after a pass here potentially comes through.
Yeah, I also wonder if playing Novigrad earlier was better.
Yeah, but I might have liked that, just to make stuff like this Canute like a bit more awkward, also a bit more
Plus,
proactivity.
Novigrad makes a body for your guard, scholar.
Yeah, it allows you to do some more one-turn shenanigans, actually getting a board together.
Yeah. You could have boosted a Siren, and then does the opponent really want to spend time killing a Siren?
Yeah, as soon as Gravesh wants to get out of this round, he can just click this Sigvald. It's gonna get a lot of value, and then you're looking at what, like a 30, 35, 40 point gap? Okay, you just play the Olgierd so that the damage gets cancelled. Yeah, 46 point gap. Yeah, 46 point gap.
But there's what that also does is it makes it, well, he can one-shot a boat if boat is floated, but he can't do it to Ixora. I think you gotta... Okay, he clicks the Novigrad first.
Okay. You can get a poison.
Finds the poison, but
Wait,
he's gonna play it for bleed.
I guess getting a poison from bank isn't meaningful enough here. You need other things.
Yeah. Don't bleed the Sigvald. I guess it doesn't matter, but... So he drops the Ixora. Can...
Okay, so you can Morels to kill Sigvald. Oh wait, no, the pass hasn't even come through. Oh gosh. Oh no.
He can just... He can just get trolled. Bye, Ixora. And he's leaving the Sigvald at 13 so that he can still hit something for 7, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know what to say. Danirai just does not have an in on this board. Skellige fully set up like this. I mean, you can't get anything to stick. You finally see the tribute is used. Deciding what to use it on should just be the Sigvald, I suppose, right?
Yeah, it doesn't really matter at this point, honestly.
Yeah, it is looking generally just like a 2-0.
Like, he's gonna have to boost this to 6 before he even puts his boat down. Yeah, to prevent the Canute from killing it. But Svalbard can still kill it.
Yeah.
So, like, that's game.
I
I play
think this
Svalbard
is
here.
just 2-0.
Yeah.
Gravesh senses blood in the water. The sirens
He knows.
are deafened from all the blood-curdling screams. King of Beggars just finished off by the Canute. And 60-point lead.
boom.
No spenders. What you gonna do?
He's gonna pass.
Yeah, and yeah, Puzzle is saying probably should have just killed the Canute with the Morals there, which probably is the better play. Granted, I don't think it helps you here. But maybe the King of Beggars sticks and you can open Sesame boat shenanigans to catch up 60 points. I don't think that's enough.
It's just an awkward spot because, like,
you don't even have open sesames. You can't catch up.
yeah, because he didn't draw them.
And that doesn't help you. So yeah. Yes, Blob is. I mean, Blob wasn't even.
Would be fine if I had Blob too.
Blob wasn't. Gravesh does go up to 1, updating the score there. Thank you, Mato. Gravesh on match point just needs to get one more win with the AQ. No, Gravesh's Monsters was banned. What does he need a win with? Wait. Oh no, sorry, Danarai's Monsters was banned. I think I have the bans swapped. Oh yes, let me change that around.
And yeah, Danirai missed like a lot of cards, like Junior and Candle.
Yeah,
I had to bank for Jacques. He also missed Azar.
Okay. Again, I'm curious whether we'll see Heat Wave on Defender here. Whether we'll see...
I think we will.
Just some setup with the location.
Wouldn't. Like, if you don't Heatwave Defender, you can't Heatwave Theater anyway, so... And it's not like this deck, like... I don't know. If there's a very tall stalker or something, you've already lost, so... That Heatwave is not the way to deal with that. I don't know.
It's just, yeah, like, the problem with Defender is if they copy it and just get, like, 3 Defenders and you can't get through it, like, I don't know what you do at that point. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure entirely, like, what the correct line here is. You see the location being developed. Gosh has Heatwave in deck, right? But only with access from Tome.
Yeah. But, I mean, you don't need the Heatwave controlled right away, do you?
I guess not. The Defender, particularly like 11 effective power, is like, well, it's easy to get through because there is a ping on the radar.
I don't understand why there wasn't Heatwave used there by...
Yeah, I don't either.
I think Danirai might be tilted
in
those last two games.
Yeah, you don't want to get tilted, but I wouldn't blame him with those draws. And also, AQ is a matchup, to be fair, that you don't really see on ladder at all. I don't think you even saw in top 16. I don't know if people were... Like, I don't remember many...
Last season, Paja was saying, AQ is really good. And whenever I've talked to Monsters, people are like, oh, AQ's still decent.
Yeah,
but I don't know what they're doing in scrims.
Particularly as a tournament deck, I think it's kind of underrated, but yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if it's really underrated because all, 3 of the 4 players took it here. So...
It's for ladder because when you get red coin and don't draw your stuff, it's annoying.
Maybe... I mean, that was heavily reliant on... Okay, or maybe the alternative was Danirai was happy to leader clash to get rid of the Defender and Heatwave. I think that was maybe the alternative, but then with the term, you can just use the Martyrdom as a way to preserve your leader anyways. And now if you can...
I think he was trying to, he was saying, it was pretending he doesn't have Heatwave, so his opponent plays Itter or something, and then he could use Care Trolled to remove the Defender somehow.
You always just copy Defender.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, never mind. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that's just, you always do that in this kind of matchup. If opponent has significant control, you copy Defender to allow your engines to stick uncontested, basically. And yes, now Danirai is going very, very aggressive, trying to just ensure the ability to...
He didn't have to Heatwave Defender with the Care Troll line. He would have full leadered and then dueled Care Trolled with his Arniolf onto the Defender and then Heatwave the Itter. I think that was what he was going for.
Yeah, and the fact that Gravesh had to use Term to get the tutor into the AQ meant that you didn't actually need to use the leader to do the duel. You could instead use the Martyrdom onto Raider to get the duel instead. So, we're going back and forth. This Sigvald gets heat waved. So, might actually be starting to get a little hard for Danirai to maintain a foothold in this round. There's no Dwim to refresh.
Why expose Sigvald with Tome on the board? I don't understand.
I don't know. Maybe you would have thought Heatwave would have been used on the location already or something. I don't know. It did seem very aggressive. I mean, you know that your opponent has access to the Heatwave if the Tome is on their side of the board. So it's either in hand or it's from the Tome. So, yeah, I don't know why you really do that there. At least force them to, be skilled enough to draw the Heatwave otherwise. Just felt way too greedy. Like, yeah, you get the Martyrdom onto the Sigvald in one turn, but then you just know it's gonna get heat waved. Maybe his hobby just get the heat wave going. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I guess. Was it even bait? Because Dwim on location is, but he committed location. I don't know.
Okay. Let's do a unit check on Danirai's graveyard. There is one Raider in the graveyard. Unit check complete. So the Sabbath is not very good right now because it's only pulling one unit. Sigvald got heat waved, so it's not actually in the graveyard. So you do need to at least play one unit to dry pass, That's kind of necessary to have some point on the board. But that would only still be 2 units going into the round 3 potentially. But if you can at least put like some points on your side of the board, I believe you would be able to force 2 units out on the pass, so it should be fine. I think you at least want to put.
So the AQ got heat waved, right? How did the AQ get heat waved?
Because you had the duel kills the defender, exposing AQ to the heat wave from hand.
Oh, with Sigval, he dueled.
Yeah.
Sigval.
Oh, Sigval got heat wave because turn.
No, you answered my question. I was wondering like how he waved AQ.
Because having a very flexible removal in the form of a clash on an order allows you to effectively kill 2 things at once. It's like very, 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 very strong.
Yeah, so if we ever had a card like that, it would definitely not be a location that you can use Dwims on repeatedly, right? Or at least it wouldn't have resilience, so you can use it in 2 rounds.
We can use a Dwim on it here.
Or at least it wouldn't be only 10 provisions, right? It would be something really expensive. No? Okay.
It seems like a good
But
way.
at least it would go to a faction that is lacking control, right? So they can actually build some diversity into their... No? It would go to the one faction with the most control options?
I think it's a good way for Danirai to defend the bleed here. Gives him flexible options to remove a Ran Warrior, maybe remove a Kikimor Stalker. We'll see.
That's true. Without it, Skellige would have no way to counter the mighty Vran Warrior.
Yeah.
That classic 4/4.
I mean, and as a faction of warriors, Skellige really should have ways to, kill another warrior. We do see the Hive Mind coming out. Should be answered immediately by a Squirrel. Yep.
Yep, squirreled.
Yeah, and this is where it gets interesting, because, maybe Gravesh should have just taken a Stalker from the Hive Mind. Because then you're effectively able to, fork the opponent that if you want to take the Squirrel, you basically have to commit your Clash this turn to kill the Stalker. Because now the Hive Mind just didn't spawn a Stalker, and you just threaten 1 less Stalker throughout the course of this game. But the pass does get used. You don't really want to play into this Clash. Your opponent has given you 3 units now in their graveyard, and those units you're pretty happy to bring back with Sabbath. So in return, you're going to have a graveyard of, I think, 2 defenders and an Idir right now for Gravesh. Which, I mean, that's a pretty good way to start this round 3, right? Location is gone as well, so...
Is Idir that good in this matchup?
Not amazing, but, it's fine. It's more the defenders I care about, because with, location gone, you can purify 1 defender with the Pillar. I don't know how you get through the other one. Probably have to do some shenanigans with Canute. But, Sigvald is gone, so maybe you need to, do some kind of stuff with, but Canute just dies anyways. To, Parasite, so I don't really know how you get through the second defender here. Actually banishes the Idir.
Okay.
To be fair, though, Danirai doesn't really have much more targeted removal remaining, so that kind of makes sense. If you're not getting through defenders, fine. Because you're not doing any targeted removal. Instead, you're just going to lean hard onto the blob and try to sort of build up your own side of the board without playing too many small units to set up the opposing Glusty Warp. But the scary thing here is Farbold could kind of backfire and weaken a lot of the units here on Danarai's side and sort of set them up for the Glusty Warp, ironically. So, yeah, quite interesting to see how this round will develop.
Wait, Gravesh won round 1, right?
Yes.
Oh. Yeah, so that bleed was not good for him.
No.
Because his opponent played a bricked Dwim, and I mean, sure, he got the the units
But
so
yeah,
he can
like
sap
if
with.
if you're gonna play the hive mind, you want to at least have it in a round you're happy to commit to. Once the clash order got reset with the Dwim, like you're not really actually contesting that, are you? That's
No.
quite rough.
But I don't know what else he had in his hand. Maybe he didn't have a playable card.
I mean, yeah.
He had Peller? Okay. Then they should have played Peller. Like your Peller's not doing anything.
Maybe it'll purify a Hafru from the Sove.
I guess so. Because we're floating Hafru for no reason. Alright. I guess this is his way of clogging, but this is another reason why you want Elder Bear instead of Hafru, right? So your opponents can't click it.
Yeah. Yeah,
To
Elder Bear
unclog
would have
themselves.
actually been better in this situation, probably.
It's a mind game between Glusty and Blob. Yo, you know when Glusty's coming. It's not. You're not Glustying for these 4 sirens. They don't matter. Watch Gravesh like instantly lead it 4 times and play Glusty just to make me look dumb.
Instead, opts to try to remove and potentially just flip some of these Bear Abominations to limit the amount of damage that Glusty can do. And this Rain also kind of getting some nice pings, lowering down the Squirrel. Makes it a bit easier to set to 1 power for the Glusty to swoop in and get value. You would like to kill this Jakar if possible, but I don't think it's super easy to do so. Like, Parasite isn't very clean here.
No, and you want to save something for. Like he needed a Stalker. He could. Oh, sorry, never mind. He has one. I think you want to have a way to immediately answer Canute, right?
Yeah. I mean, but does Canute even matter here? You're just going through defenders.
All right, because Sigvald got heat waved, and there's no. Well, there is still a Olgierd in the deck, in hand for Danirai.
But that's just like
and that is
5
points a
damage.
turn.
Currently, that's just hidden armor.
Well, for the first, like for 2 of the times, but the
You're
other 4
gonna be able
times,
to kill the.
it's 20 points.
Sigvald within a couple turns at least. Right?
Canute? Yeah, I guess so.
Sorry, yeah, Canute.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, so the room being resurrected. What's still in the graveyard here for Danirai? Only 4 prop units. So I mean,
but he wanted. Yeah, Gravesh wanted the Ram Warrior anyway. That's like.
Yeah.
That's his. That's a really good card for him here. Can Danirai do anything about this Ram Warrior? Well, it's small. I don't see how.
It's out of range of the. As long as you can get it above 7 effective power, which with the 1 armor it's at 8. It's safe from the Canute being used on the Arnyov. So there's the blob. Wipes out a lot of the 1 power tokens here from Babsy. Boing boing.
I think you have to Parasite the blob here, right?
Yeah, I think you might need to.
Then it gets instant res also. So.
I mean, this is starting to look bad for the AQ. But yeah, you have your defenders. You have this Stalker sticking, but. I mean, what's your AQ doing? Sorry, what's your Glusty eating? Okay, you have your Ran Warriors, cool. You can engine a bit. And the hand remaining here for Danirai is not particularly great. Although, as I say that, okay, the Canute is like this last big remaining play. But there is a Sigdrupa's right in hand, so even if the Knut does die, it can just get resurrected.
Yeah.
And
like, if he had killed this Fog Blob, there would be 4 less points there, right?
yeah.
I guess when it got Sigdrupa, you'd have to kill it again. Which,
Yes,
like,
I think
how do you do that?
yeah. I think now, and I think this is possibly partly what Danirai has done so well by playing the Knut and
Why is he clicking? I guess if he doesn't, he loses.
the boost. There's no real reason not to just. I mean, actually, if he's just gonna get blobbed anyways, that's kind of just you're losing points because you're splitting it and just giving blob more value. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
but it does give 1 point to Stalker regardless, so it's still worth doing it, I think.
Yeah, I just want to point out that Danirai has played it really well here, playing the blob and the Knut so late. After a lot of like the hideous feast and a lot of the pings have already been used up on the side of Gravesh, because then you're able to really sort of stretch thin this removal from Danirai.
Oh no. That second Vran Warrior dies. That was gonna be really.
Yeah.
If he had used his Stalker charges, maybe to keep
Yes.
it. I don't know. To keep it out of just get it to 6 points. We would have had to use 2 charges. Like,
Oh yeah, this is. Yeah, that's what you can. Yeah, so the blob actually can backfire here. You see a few units sort of at 3 power, like the Dwim, the Raider, the Squirrel. By proccing the bears, it's good for a few reasons. 1, it sets up the 1 power units for blob. 2, it also actually is good for you because I mean we can see Danirai has a much wider board right now, so the damage to all the units on the board is generally hurting Danirai more than is hurting Gravesh. Yeah, that's
True.
yeah. I think there must have been some way to keep that second Stalker, the Warrior alive with the Stalker for Gravesh, because that would have been. So
what was
many
everybody saying
points.
about backfiring? Man, every time I think Blob is going to be like negative points, I end up being wrong. Even Puzzle, like about as like experienced the player as you can get with this deck, considering he made it. He's like, this feels pretty close, and then it's like 40 points apart after Bear God got played. After the Bears got triggered. Because they killed a few 1 power units too, so it's not like. I don't know. I don't really know what's going on anymore. Are you muted? Am I muted?
Sorry, I was looking.
No, you're just quiet.
Yeah, trying to think. Yeah, I don't know what Gravesh
There's-
can do.
There's
here.
7 charges on Stalker. He can set up a few ones. It's 1 and 3 and 4.
I don't see how you get over this 35-point gap.
Well, Glusty gets 3 points for every enemy unit that it eats.
Yeah.
And then you also get an extra 1 point per, so it's 4 points per target. If you had a second Ran Warrior, it would be even more.
Yeah, I mean, with the second Brand Warrior, maybe it's still enough. I'd be surprised, but maybe this Fran,
That's it.
the Glusty is able to pop off with this Fran Warrior.
He's got a lot of charges. He can set up more ones.
That means you can set up one more one.
Yeah.
Okay.
See?
That is big enough. I underrated the Glusty. Yeah.
Glusty with Ran is a lot of points.
Yeah, so, I mean, even with just one Van Warrior, I think
Yeah.
saving the pings
If
maybe...
it's enemy units.
Yeah.
Like, 3 points per enemy unit, 1 point per friendly unit that it consumes.
Yeah,